about to discover powerful revelations that can transform your way of seeing the world and the future. These prophecies bring alerts, guidance, and, above all, a special challenge that only the most attentive will be able to face. Stay with me until the end, for the last prophecy holds a mission that few can accomplish. It's not just about what is happening in the world, but about what you are willing to do with this truth. Prepare yourself, for what will be revealed can change the course of your life. Are you ready to accept the challenge? Let's go together. Prophecy 1. The Eclipse of Divine Change. We are in times where the signs are more evident than ever, and the approaching eclipse is a landmark of these moments. It is not just a natural phenomenon, but an event loaded with spiritual meanings that calls us to reflection and transformation. This eclipse is not a simple alignment of stars. It is a clear sign that something much greater is moving. The eclipse we are about to witness hides the sun, but reveals a deep symbolism. The hidden light of the sun is a reminder that often the truth needs to go through moments of shadow before shining with all its strength. This eclipse marks the beginning of a time when ancient secrets, hidden in darkness, will start to emerge. It is not a warning to fear, but rather to pay attention. We are living in days where what seemed safe and unchangeable is being unmasked. Just as the sunlight reappears after the eclipse, we will also see the truth reveal itself in our lives, in governments, and in power structures that try to hide in the shadows. This is the moment to not avert our gaze, to face the darkness that arises so that the light of truth can shine. There is a promise of clarity for those who remain vigilant and attentive to the signs that are to come. This eclipse occurs at a strategic moment between the Jewish holidays of Purim and Passover, dates marked by the liberation of God's people and the judgment of the wicked. This celestial alignment is no coincidence. It is a direct call to justice, a warning that times of adjustments are arriving. The nations that choose lies, oppression, and injustice will be under a celestial spotlight. Corrupted structures will be exposed, and divine justice will no longer be a distant concept, but a reality that materializes. Leaders and governors are being called to reposition themselves, to make decisions that honor the truth and the well-being of their people. Those nations that ignore the signs and persist in their dark paths will see collapses where there was once stability. The eclipse is a momentary pause in the light, but it is also a warning that today's actions have consequences that cannot be avoided. There is something very symbolic in the fact that the eclipse crosses 7 cities called Nineveh in the United States, in addition to one in Canada. This takes us back to the story of the prophet Jonah, who was sent to Nineveh to warn about the impending judgment. The city repented and was spared. But what does this mean for us today? This eclipse is a sounding of the trumpet, a call to awaken, an invitation to repentance before judgment is realized. It is not just for religious leaders, but for all who are willing to listen. The time to hide behind excuses is over. The moment is for a genuine change of heart. Each of us is being called to reconsider our actions, our priorities, and the way we have been living. This is a warning. Changes need to be made, not out of fear, but for the opportunity to build something new and true. It is the sound of awakening, calling us to rise from where we are and take a clear stand. The eclipse is a reminder that light always returns, but we need to be ready to receive it. This first prophecy invites us to look beyond what is visible, to understand that every sign in the sky is an invitation to change. Shadows do not last forever, but what we do while the light is covered determines how the light will return. Stay alert, for the time of change is now, and everyone has a role in this great movement that is just beginning. We are witnessing prophecies being fulfilled before our eyes, but many still do not perceive the urgency of the signs around us. The first prophecy revealed how hidden light brings to the surface hidden truths and inevitable changes. And what comes next is even more impactful. To help you understand all this deeply, I have made my digital book available that unveils these mysteries clearly. The link is in the first pinned comment. But be careful. There are only a few units, and they will soon be taken down. Don't miss the opportunity to access this knowledge that can change your vision of the future. Download it now! Prophecy 2. The Awakening of Nations and the Signs of the Earth. The moment we are living goes beyond celestial signs. The Earth also speaks, and it is speaking loudly. In times like this, it is impossible to ignore the tremors and warnings that come from the depths of our planet. The Earth shakes as if responding to something greater, something that is beyond human control. Nations are being shaken, and these physical tremors are reflections of changes that need to happen in the hearts of peoples and leaders. What is at stake now is not just the future of nations, but the very soul of humanity. In the coming days, there will be earthquakes in unexpected places, shaking cities and bringing to light vulnerabilities that were previously hidden. These tremors are not just physical movements, they are invitations to courage. The earth stirs as a sign that we can no longer cling to structures that were not built on truth. There is a correction happening, a need to adjust our steps, not just as individuals but as whole societies. Nations that refuse to heed these calls will face disasters that will serve as brutal awakeners. There is no more time to procrastinate. These tremors are a warning that courage is needed to face problems head-on, to not wait for the quake to pass without learning from it. Each quake is a cry from the earth, asking for true change. As the earth shakes, the waters also move. We will see floods that will challenge cities, breaking barriers and limits imposed by man. These waters bring a clear message. Nothing can be contained when it is time for purification. Nations that have sustained themselves on fragile and unjust foundations will see the waters sweep away what is not solid. This is not a time for fear, but for preparation. The floods symbolize the washing away of old practices, of old habits that can no longer remain. Those who resist this natural cleansing will see the consequences of their rigidity. It is time to be flexible, to adjust, to make space for the new. Water always finds a way, and these floods are a reminder that resisting these changes will only bring more pain. There is an opportunity hidden in every drop of water to leave behind what no longer serves. Beyond the tremors and waters, fire will also manifest as a purifying agent. It is not just about ordinary fires, but about events that will challenge our understanding and force us to look at what truly matters. Fire symbolizes both destruction and purification. It consumes what is useless, but refines what is precious. In the coming times, we will witness fires that will seem uncontrollable, devouring forests, structures, and even cities. This fire is a sign that purification needs to happen, that there are things that can no longer continue as they are. It challenges each one to look within and see what needs to be burned in their own lives. There is no escape. The fire we see outside is a reflection of the internal flames that also need to be faced. Those who are willing to go through this fire, to allow themselves to be refined, will emerge stronger and prepared for what is to come. But those who insist on hiding, on avoiding confrontation, will see their defenses burned before their eyes. This second prophecy is a call to action and deep reflection. The elements of the earth are moving in ways we have never seen before, and this is a mirror to what is happening inside each one of us. Tremors, waters, and fire are more than natural events. They are clear messages that change is not optional. It is time to embrace this transformation, to no longer resist what needs to be changed. The nations that heed the call will adapt and strengthen, while those that resist will face the consequences of their inertia. The earth is speaking, and it is time for all of us to listen. Prophecy 3. The Spiritual Battle and the Awakening of Souls. We are in a time where the battle has ceased to be just physical or political. Now we have entered a spiritual war that intensifies with each passing day. This prophecy reveals that invisible forces are in conflict, and the reflection of this is felt in every sphere of our lives. There is a struggle for souls, for hearts, for the minds of people. This is not just about beliefs or ideologies, but a much deeper battle that echoes in the daily decisions and directions humanity is taking. The spiritual world is not a distant abstraction. It is more present than ever. The darkness is rising in a way that many did not expect. It does not come openly, but subtly, infiltrating minds, systems, and social structures. This is a time where truth is distorted, where what is wrong seems right, and what is right seems outdated. The forces of darkness manifest in various ways, through rampant corruption, manipulation of information, and the destruction of the values that sustain society. But at the same time, there is a resistance rising, an army of light that does not remain silent. This army is not made up of perfect people, but of souls that refuse to accept the lie as the truth. There is a mass awakening happening, a realization that what is at stake is much greater than ideologies or politics. It is a battle for the heart of humanity, and each one of us is called to resist, to be a point of light amidst the intensifying darkness. We are in an era of massive deception, where the false dresses as true and the true is ridiculed. False prophets, corrupt leaders, and soulless influencers emerge as guides for a generation that often does not know where it is being led. Deception is not something distant. It is on screens, in softly manipulated words, in empty promises that mislead. But this is also a unique opportunity for those who choose to see beyond what is on the surface. Discernment is the most precious gift in this time, the ability to separate what is authentic from what is manufactured. Those who connect with the truth, who seek earnestly, will find answers that go beyond what the eyes can see. Light will always find a crack to infiltrate, but one must be attentive, willing to question, and not accept what is handed over readily. There is a war of narratives, and discernment is the most powerful weapon we have. Amid the confusion, there is a silent, almost imperceptible cry coming from the depths of souls. It is a cry for meaning, for purpose, for a true connection that cannot be found in anything of this world. Spirituality is being rediscovered, not as an escape, but as a real response to the deepest questions. People are tired of superficial answers, of promises that are not fulfilled. This is a time of return to the sacred, of seeking what is eternal, what transcends the limitations of matter. Churches may be full or empty, but true revival is happening within every heart that decides to turn to what is true. The spiritual battle we are fighting is not just to defeat evil, but to restore what has been lost within us. The reconnection with the sacred is the answer to the emptiness that so many souls feel, an emptiness that cannot be filled by anything the world offers. This third prophecy challenges us to look beyond appearances, to recognize that what we are facing is greater than any visible conflict. We are in a war for our souls, and the decision to fight cannot be delegated. Each of us has a crucial role to play, whether by resisting the lies that seek to consume us, or by seeking the truth that liberates. Spiritual awakening is not a collective event, but a personal decision, a choice to live beyond what is immediate and temporary. The spiritual world is more active than ever, and it is up to each one to choose which side they will be on in this battle. The call is clear. Resist the darkness, seek the light, and return to what is sacred. We have reached the crucial point of the first three prophecies, which revealed the spiritual battle, the deception of the masses, and the call to awakening. But tell me, had you heard about these revelations before? Did you know these events were taking place? Write in the comments what impacted you the most so far. And now, prepare yourself, because in the next prophecy, we will see how great empires fall and the humble rise to take their places. Stay with me until the end, because the last prophecy brings a special challenge, something that few can face. Don't miss the next chapter. Let's move forward. Prophecy 4. The fall of empires and the rise of the humble. We are living in a time of monumental upheavals, where great empires, systems of power, and once unstoppable figures begin to crumble. This prophecy reveals that the global scenario is in full transformation, with structures that seemed indestructible showing their flaws and collapsing before our eyes. But where many see chaos and uncertainty, there is also a great opportunity. The rise of the humble, those who have been forgotten, but who now find their voice. The world is being redrawn, and those who were on the margins are being called to occupy a new space. We are witnessing the fall of systems that have long ruled with an iron fist, hiding their intentions and manipulating the masses. These empires, whether economic, political, or ideological, are crumbling not because of external forces, but because of the rot that has grown within them. It's like a house of cards which seemed imposing, but collapses with a simple touch. Scandals, revelations, and internal failures are exposing the true nature of these powers. What is happening is not just a series of isolated events. It is a divine dismantling of structures that no longer serve the greater good. The nations that base their power on corruption, injustice, and exploitation will see their foundations shaken until nothing remains but the truth. This is the moment when masks come off, and what remains is the true face of each empire. As the great ones fall, the small begin to rise. This is the era of the invisible, of those who have never had a voice, but who are now called to the forefront. The humble, those who have always been sidelined, will be the new leaders, driven not by the desire for power, but by a commitment to justice and truth. Ordinary people who were once unnoticed now become the heroes of their communities, leading with integrity and courage. It is a time where hidden talent, accumulated wisdom, and the resilience of those who have always fought silently begin to shine. Do not be fooled. The new leaders will not come from palaces, but from the streets, from simple homes, from the places where true strength resides. This is a movement that cannot be contained, as it is fueled by the hope for a fairer and more equal future. With the fall of ancient empires, a new order is emerging, and it is no longer based on brute force or manipulation of the masses. Power is being redistributed in unexpected ways, creating a new balance that favors justice and equity. What was once a privilege of the few is now beginning to be accessible to many. It is as if the hands of power are being forced open, releasing what has long been held back. Technologies that were used for control are now being used to liberate. Knowledge that was kept in the hands of a few is beginning to spread like an uncontrollable fire. This redistribution is not just material, it is also spiritual. People who have long felt powerless are now discovering that they have the power to shape their own lives and their communities. What is being built is a new model, where cooperation, solidarity, and integrity are the central pillars. This fourth prophecy speaks of a world in transformation, where what was solid crumbles and what was invisible takes shape. We are witnessing a change that goes beyond what the eyes can see. It is a transition of values, where what was exalted is lowered, and what was humble is raised. The old structures are being demolished, not out of hatred or revenge, but out of an urgent need to create something new, something that works for everyone. This is the time for new beginnings, where the humble find their strength and the powerful learn that they can no longer control the fate of others. The emerging new order is more humane, more just, and is shaped by the hands of those who have never given up fighting for a better world. The winds of change are blowing strong, and there is no way to resist them. Each of us is being called to take a stand, to choose which side we will be on when the dust settles. This is the beginning of a new chapter in history, and it will be written by those who have the courage to dream of something different, something that truly makes sense for all. Prepare yourself, for what is to come is greater than we can imagine, and each one has an essential role in this great turning that approaches. Prophecy 5, the time of trials and the refinement of the chosen. We have come to a time where trials intensify, revealing the true essence of each one. This is the moment to be tested, to pass through fire and discover what truly remains. The difficulties that arise are not mere obstacles, but processes of refinement that aim to purify and prepare the chosen for a greater purpose. This is not a period for the faint of heart, but for those who are willing to face their own weaknesses and strengthen themselves amid adversity. The trials we are experiencing are disguised opportunities, doors that open only for those who have the courage to cross them. The fire of trials is burning more intensely than ever. It is not just about financial difficulties, health problems, or personal crises, but about a profound purification taking place at all levels. What we are facing is a series of tests that lead us to question everything we believe to be solid. This fire is relentless, but it is also just. It consumes what is superficial and reveals what is genuine. The faith that was merely theory is now put to the test, and those who persevere will emerge stronger than ever. This is a time to confront fears, to face the truths we have avoided, and to allow the fire to refine our character. There are no shortcuts. There is no escape. The trials are here to shape us, and the only way out is to go through them with courage and determination. Along with the fire come storms that seem relentless. They arrive without warning, testing our resilience and our ability to stay focused amid chaos. These storms are not just metaphors. They manifest in unexpected losses, in closed doors, in betrayals that catch us off guard. However, each storm is also a test of strength. What defines us is not the absence of problems, but how we deal with them. This is the time to stand firm, to find a point of balance amid the gale. Those who manage to stay strong will not just be survivors, but winners who carry within them the mark of overcoming. The storms come to shake us, but also to strengthen us. They remind us that true strength lies not in the absence of challenges, but in our ability to face each one with our heads held high. We are in the valley of decisions, a symbolic place where every choice matters and every step defines the path to be taken. In this valley, there is no space for indecision or neutrality. Each one must choose which side they will be on. This is a time where those who remain true to their principles, even when everything seems to crumble, will find a new destiny laid out for them. It is not easy, and no one promised that it would be. The decisions made now will echo in the days to come, shaping not only individual futures, but the collective one as well. The chosen ones are those who, amid the greatest trials, manage to maintain their integrity, who do not bend under pressure, and who, even when they fall, find the strength to rise again. This valley is a place of transformation. It is where weaknesses are exposed, but also where true strength is revealed. The decisions we make today will define who we will be tomorrow. This fifth prophecy speaks of a time when trials can no longer be avoided. They are necessary because it is through them that we are shaped and prepared for what is to come. The fire, the storms, and the valley of decisions are not enemies. They are instruments of a greater refining process. There is no growth without challenge, and there is no victory without struggle. We are being forged for something greater, and each trial is an opportunity for growth. Preparation is not optional. It is a requirement for those who wish to be ready when the new time manifests. This is the moment to face, not to give up, and to allow each trial to fulfill its role. Prepare to be tested, not with fear, but with the certainty that each challenge is a chance to become the best version of yourself. The time of trials is upon us, and only those who accept the process will emerge ready for what comes next. We are being refined for a greater purpose, and each trial is an essential part of that preparation. We saw in Prophecy 5 that the trials are refining each of us, testing our faith and shaping our character for the challenges to come. But the journey does not stop here. In the next prophecy, we will talk about the awakening of the watchers and the restoration of hope amidst chaos. Before continuing, don't forget to grab your digital book by clicking the link in the pinned first comment. This material is essential for you to understand and prepare for the times we are living in. Units are limited and selling out fast, so don't waste time and secure yours right now. Let's continue this journey of knowledge together. Prophecy 6. The awakening of the watchers and the restoration of hope. We have reached the moment when the watchers rise up. They are those who, amidst darkness, remain alert, attentive to signs, and ready to act. This is a time of spiritual and mental awakening, where each one is called to step out of apathy and take an active role in building a new future. The restoration of hope will not come from great institutions, but from the actions of those who remain faithful and vigilant, who do not let themselves be swept away by the current of despair. The world is in a state of transition, and the watchers will be the beacons that guide others through the storm. The guardians of truth are those who refuse to accept lies as the final answer. They do not stay silent in the face of injustice and do not conform to the current state of things. This is the time when the watchers, the guardians who stand while many sleep, take on the responsibility of keeping the flame of truth alive. They are not necessarily religious or political leaders, but ordinary people who have chosen not to surrender to deception. They expose what is hidden, challenge false narratives, and create spaces where the truth can be spoken without fear. This uprising is quiet but powerful, and its strength lies in the integrity of each person who chooses to defend what is right. The guardians do not seek glory. They seek justice and clarity in a world that has lost itself in half-truths. This is the moment to be a watcher, to rise against deceit, and to protect what is true. Hope is a powerful force that cannot be destroyed, even in the darkest moments. We are living in days of despair, where many have lost trust in institutions, leaders, and even in their own destinies. However, the flame of hope does not extinguish. It merely hides, waiting for the right moment to reignite. This prophecy speaks of a time when hope will be restored, not as a vague feeling, but as an active force that moves mountains. Those who remain vigilant will be the bearers of this flame, inspiring others not to give up. It is a time to reclaim dreams, to remember that even amid chaos, there are possibilities for reconstruction. Hope is not a luxury. It is a necessity, a vital impulse that drives us forward when everything seems lost. The watchers keep this flame alive, ensuring it never goes out, for they know that it is hope that sustains the soul in times of crisis. While many see ruins, the watchers see the foundation for something new. This is the time to rebuild what has been destroyed, not in the same way as before, but with a new understanding, with a renewed faith that arises from the lessons learned from losses. The restoration of the ruins is not only physical but spiritual. It is the rebirth of a faith that has been tested, shaken, but not broken. Reconstruction involves work, sacrifice, and above all, vision. The watchers have this vision. They see potential where others see only wreckage. Faith is not blind. It is the ability to see beyond the immediate and believe that even in the worst conditions, there is a chance to be reborn. This rebirth is not for those who resign themselves, but for those who believe there is always something to be done, a new story to be written. This sixth prophecy highlights the role of the watchers in a world in transition. They are the guardians of truth, the bearers of hope, and the agents of reconstruction. This is a time of awakening, where passivity is no longer an option. Each of us has a calling to be vigilant, to keep our eyes open and our hearts strong even when everything around seems uncertain. The restoration of hope depends on each one who chooses to believe, who chooses to fight, who chooses to rise when everyone else gives up. This is the time of the watchers, those who do not sleep while the battle is ongoing. Hope is the fuel that drives them, and truth is the shield that protects them. We are living a moment of rebirth, where the old fades away to make way for the new. The light they carry is small, but sufficient to illuminate the path for many. Prepare to rise, for restoration is coming, and each of us is an essential part of this great work that is just beginning. Prophecy 7, the Great Awakening and the Final Call. We are reaching the peak of everything that has been prophesied. This is the moment of the Great Awakening, a time where every soul will be confronted with an urgent choice: to remain in the shadows or to walk in the light. This is the moment when all masks fall, and the true purpose of each one is revealed. There is no longer space for neutrality. It's time to decide which side you will be on when the future is defined. The Great Awakening is not an external event, but an internal transformation that affects everything around. It is the final call to awaken to the truth, to embrace the mission that each of us carries in our hearts. Amidst the chaos and confusion, the call of the brave echoes louder. These are the ones who, despite fear, choose to rise and act. They are not perfect. Many carry deep scars, but it is precisely this that makes them suited to lead. This is the time to recognize that courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to act even when fear is present. The brave are not defined by their past successes or failures, but by their willingness to respond to the call in their hearts. This is the challenge for all of us, to hear that call, to understand that the life we are living has a greater purpose, and that each choice we make brings us closer to or further away from that purpose. The battle is not against flesh and blood, but against all that tries to keep us asleep and conformed. The awakening begins with the decision to rise and face whatever is in our way. The awakening brings with it a new vision of the future, a clarity that was previously obscured by distractions and fears. This is the time to dream again, to imagine possibilities that once seemed out of reach. But this vision is not just for contemplation. It is an invitation to act, to build new paths that lead to a different future. The vision that emerges in this great awakening is a guide, a compass that points to a direction where justice, truth, and integrity are more than words, but lived realities. Each of us is a builder of this new path, and no matter how small our role may seem, it is essential. The vision we receive is a gift, but it only materializes when we decide to work for it. This is the challenge, to transform the vision into action, not to settle for what is, but to fight for what can be. The Great Awakening does not come without a cost. It puts us before the ultimate challenge, to look within and confront what we truly are. This is the test of the heart, where every intention is exposed and every motivation is put to the test. It is not enough to see the truth. We must live according to it. The greatest challenge we face is not outside, but within us. It's easy to point out what is wrong in the world, but the real work begins when we ask ourselves what needs to change within us. This is the ultimate challenge, to align our hearts with the truth that has been revealed to us, to abandon the lies we tell ourselves, and to embrace the radical honesty that awakening demands. Each of us must respond to this call, and the answer will determine our place in the story that is being written. We are at the culmination of everything that has been said. This is the time to decide, to act, to awaken to what is real, and to abandon what is illusory. The challenge I leave for you is simple, yet powerful. What in your life needs to be transformed for you to fully awaken? What are the lies you have accepted as truth? Write your answer in the comments. Be honest with yourself and share what you feel needs to change to align your path with the truth. Awakening is personal, but the impact is collective. When you choose to rise, you inspire others to do the same. There is no more time for hesitation. The choice is yours, and the moment is now. Write in the comments what needs to be transformed in your life for complete awakening to happen. This is your call, and the answer is in your hands. We have reached the end of the 7th prophecy, where the Great Awakening confronts us with the final challenge, to transform our lives and awaken completely. Now it's your turn to act. If you felt the impact of these revelations, be sure to watch the 2 videos on the screen to deepen your knowledge of the prophecies. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any content, and turn on notifications. Like the video if this message made sense to you, and share it with those who need to hear these truths. Your participation is essential for us to spread these powerful messages. Accept the challenge and let's go together.